and welcome back to Royalty Soaps. Today's video is a highly requested tutorial for a product that I never made. Don't ask me why you would ask someone who has no experience in this certain area to make a DIY video. I am simply here to please the masses. So what is it? What is this bath product we are making? Well, my friends, it is none other than the legendary Bubble Bar. According to BathBodySupply.com, a bubble bar is a dry cake made up of ingredients that bubble and foam profusely when introduced to running water. Alternatively called solid bubble bath, these tub time treats have been made very popular by a certain four-letter company and are probably the most photographed / Instagram bath product of all time. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, I have probably made 12 to 15 batches of these suckers in total. I amended recipes and I experimented with different fragrance amounts and I substituted ingredients to try to make the thing cheaper. And here's the conclusion that I drew. There has got to be an easier way to make these. Lucky for me, Nicole from Two Wild Hairs has expertly formulated a foolproof bubble bar recipe that takes all of the guesswork and ridiculously pricey ingredients out of the picture. Her PDF, which you can purchase in the Two Wild Hairs Etsy shop, comes complete with photographed step-by-step instructions, websites to all the ingredients you're going to need, measurements in both grams and ounces, and a load of helpful notes and tricks. So today I am creating bubble bars using her recipe. Now, I can't share with you the exact measurements or the ingredients in this recipe because her recipe is copyrighted. But if you purchase the PDF to make your own, this should be a helpful video guide that complements her instructions. And guess what? I have even secured a coupon code for you guys that you can use in the Two Wild Hairs Etsy shop to get you a percentage off of the bubble bar recipe. And as far as I know, this is the only coupon code she has going for this recipe. So I'm going to be slipping it in somewhere in the middle, so you need to be paying attention. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So this recipe combines both powder and what is going to be liquid ingredients. So in here are the 4 powder ingredients, and then I'm going to heat this up, which is a butter, in the microwave before I add the rest of the liquid ingredients into here. And there are 5 liquid ingredients. While the butter is melting and before I mix up the rest of the liquid ingredients, I'm going to set the powder ingredients to mixing. So have my KitchenAid here, and you can use a little hand blender, like one of those little hand beater thingies. You can use those, but of course using a KitchenAid or any other sort of stand mixer is going to be a better idea. And I'm going to be adding this attachment. So not a whipping attachment, it's a beating attachment. So I'm going to put this in here and lock it. Then I'm going to put this on top, which not all KitchenAids come with this, but mine did. So this just sort of helps keep the powder in. And then I'm going to turn it on the lowest setting, which is the stir setting, just like this. And then I'm going to put a towel over it so that none of the powder sort of floofs out into the air. While the dry ingredients are being mixed up, I have gone ahead and added the other liquid ingredients, one of which is the fragrance oil. And today I'm going to be using Green Apple Explosion from Nature's Garden Candles. This smells absolutely amazing. And then the instructions tell you that you need to mix this up until it sort of has a jelly type consistency. So it'll start to look a little bit grainy and it won't feel really runny and liquidy. It will start to have sort of a semi-solid feeling to it. So sort of like this, it has sort of this texture that sort of a little bit lumpy, a little bit gelatinous looking. That's when it has been completely mixed and when you can add it to your dry ingredients. So while this is stirring on low, I'm going to start adding the liquid ingredients in a slow, steady stream. After the liquid ingredients have sort of wet the dry ones, you're gonna bump it up one until everything starts sticking together in sort of a dough type consistency. Alright, so everything is sort of sticking together, as you can see. See? Sort of in a dough type consistency. I'm going to get all of this off the mixer, and then I'm going to weigh it out and split the batch evenly because I'm going to be using 2 colors. The colorants I'm using today are from Nurture Soap Supplies, and the first one is the apple green mica. I'm going to try to put this so that y'all can see it. Apple green mica. And the second one is the spring green mica. I know that's completely out of focus, but this is what the color sort of looks like. So for this first half, I'm going to be putting half a teaspoon of apple green mica from Nurture Soap. Then I'm going to put this back in here, and I'm going to mix it up until the color is fully incorporated. That looks just about right. So now I'm going to take it out, and we'll put in the next half. For the second half, I am putting in 1/4 of a teaspoon of the spring green. So this one is going to be lighter, and I'm going to mix it up in the exact same fashion that I mixed up the other color. Now, of course, if you're going to be doing 2 colors that are really, really different, you're going to want to scrape out the bowl, make sure your little mixing paddle has all of the extra, dough and stuff off of it. But because mine are so similar, I didn't take the time to do that. In Nicole's instructions, she gives you 2 different techniques for rolling out your bubble dough, and I'm not going to be using either one of them for this video. I'm going to be doing something a little bit different, but she essentially illustrates how to make, sort of the jelly roll look where it has the little swirl on the inside and stuff. But today for mine, I'm just going to make it sort of a mismatch, so it's not going to have a really perfect swirl in it. It's going to look a little bit just sort of clumped together. And what I've done is I've measured these out to 7 inches because I want my bubble bars to be about 3.5 ounces a piece. So that's about how long this needs to be because there's about just enough for 7. And so I'm going to continue to pick this up, and I'm just going to roll it until it starts to kind of fuse together. And I'm going to have to keep pushing it in on the ends because it has a tendency to elongate. Another thing that I've noticed after I've done this a couple of times is that bubble dough gets softer the more heat from your hands you apply, so I'm trying to touch this very lightly so that I don't, kind of melt it. That's just what I've noticed. Then once it sort of gets fused together like it has here, it's about right now, I'm going to sort of flatten it, even it out so it's even on all the portions here. I'm going to measure it. Okay, so this is a little longer. Here's where the 7 is, so I'm going to squish it in a little more. Okay, just like that. I don't want to push it down on the paper too much because then it will start leaving little bits of the bar behind. So this is going to be the top now. So I'm just going to add a wee bit of cosmetic grade glitter on top here. This is green glitter for green apple. I'm going to sort of put this all around the edges and everything. Okay, so now it's time to cut this. 7 inches across. So I'm going to make little indentations. Again, trying not to let this sit too long just because it gets kind of sticky. Okay, so here goes the first one. And I'm going to kind of flip it onto here. So there, you can see the 2 separate colors sort of smooshed, all woven around. And I'm just sort of setting these out of the way as I cut them. So there goes the second one. This is sort of what it looks like. You see this sort of even split of colors there. So this is what the final product looks like. I added a little bit of green glitter in the middle, sort of like an apple core. I don't know, just one of those things that I'm just kind of like, yeah, maybe I should do that. I'm gonna leave these to sit for 24 hours, and then I'm gonna come back and flip them, and they're gonna form sort of a hard crust. There's not gonna get completely hard as a rock, but they're gonna sort of form a little bit of a hard crust. I've been working in an extremely humid environment. The humidity today is at 80%, so I don't have a dehumidifier, and these bubble bars still worked if you follow Nicole's instructions, and they did harden up enough for me to package. So even if you live in a really humid climate, you're still probably going to have a lot of luck with this recipe. And if you live in an arid climate, good for you, because it's going to be way easy and they're going to harden up really nice. I'm actually going to show you now how I package these. So here I have one of the bubble bars that I made a couple of days ago. This is scented in pink limeade and is also created using the Nurture Soap micas. This is again the green apple, and then this one on the outside I think is like the Fandango pink. So what I'm going to do here is I have my 4x6 shrink wrap bag. You can get these from wholesale supplies, plus you can get these from eBay. Lots of people carry these. I'm going to slip this in, just like so. And then I'm going to take off all the excess and seal the end, just like this. Cut it off with my scissors here, just like that. So really, really simple. Again, you just take your little shrink wrap bag. After these have dried, I think these have been drying about 4 days. And so they've completely formed their little hard, crusty shell on the outside. This recipe is tailored so that it will have a crusty outside, but that the inside will still be sort of pliable so you can break it if you want. And there we go, sealed right on the edge, just like that. And cut off the excess. So I have these now. You're going to do that with all the bubble bars you have. If you're making the recipe that she gave us, again, you will have about 7 of them. Then I have my heat gun. Got this off of Amazon for about 15 bucks. Really inexpensive. If you don't have a heat gun and are trying to shrink wrap, that is like major no. I know I've seen some people say, oh, you can use a hairdryer, and you can, but it's not going to have that clean sealed finish. So I'm turning this on low. It really doesn't take much to shrink this type of shrink wrap because it's so thin. Then I'm going to kind of squash the edges here, sort of roll it about. Alright, so then it looks real nice, real professional, and your bar is safe. So this is what they look like up close after they have been shrink wrapped. You're going to want to label these according to your country's standards. Every country has a different sort of labeling requirement. These would be great gifts, guys, especially for people that are, you know, that 4-letter company enthusiasts. Well, how awesome would it be for you to say, hey, I know you love those bubble bars that cost like $10.95 a piece, but you can make them a lot cheaper. They're fully customizable, which is the cool thing. You can make whatever colors you want, you can make whatever fragrances you want. It's just a good idea for a gift, or even, you know, again, if you yourself are interested in that sort of thing. So just as a disclaimer before I end this video was in no way sponsored or endorsed by any company. I simply had a lot of people requesting how to make bubble bars, and so I set out to find the most foolproof, reliable recipe, blah blah blah, for most people. And the one that I found that worked the best in all the different sort of climates, and you know, even if you have like little to no experience, which I absolutely did not when I started doing this, and these have continued to work out great. So that's why I made this video, was to find the best option for most people out there and then tell you guys about it so that you guys can be enabled to go make it yourself. Nicole from 2 Wild Hairs did not contact me asking me to promote her recipe. I asked her if I could make this video because it is her recipe. These are her secrets, her ingredients, her, you know, hours and hours of labor to make this recipe. So I actually came to her and asked her for permission. Again, no way sponsored sponsored by her. I'm not getting paid to make this video, nothing like that. I simply found what I feel to be the best way to make these products, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and maybe even leave me a comment below. And I hope